welcome to this India Today special, Royal Stag Barrel Select Perfect Strokes, where we are trying to uncover what is perfection in life and in particular in the world of sport. And we are joined today by 4 individuals who really have perfected the art of winning and excellence in sport. Very privileged to be introducing Viswanathan Anand, multiple world chess champion from India, Padma Vibhushan, and one of the most decorated sportspersons in India. Joining him is 8-time Olympic gold medalist, the man who was unbeaten over the 400 meters for years on end, Michael Johnson. Next to him is someone familiar to Indian audiences, the world's greatest wicketkeeper batsman from Australia, Adam Gilchrist. And to my extreme left is Lothar Matthaus, the captain of the West German Football World Cup winning team in the year 1990. Gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us here on Perfect Strokes. And I'm going to start by asking you that big question. What is perfection in sport for you all about?
Oh, thank you very much. I think you're selling Vishy short a little bit there about the Indian audiences, but wonderful to be here on such an esteemed panel with some absolute legends of sports that I've well and truly followed throughout my days. But for perfection for me, I guess, or pursuit of perfection, certainly I don't feel like I was ever able to attain that or achieve it, but it's the desire to try and get your standard of performance up to what you think is perfect. That's the challenge, and that's what I guess gets us out of bed every day and invigorates us to go out there and train and prepare and try to achieve that. But the one person that comes to mind for me in the field of endeavour that I was in, and that's obviously cricket, was, and it's appropriate that we're here in this country, Sachin Tendulkar. I think immediately to the 2003-2004 series in Australia, where Sachin had been dismissed a few times just playing cover drives, being caught, he was nicking it, edging out, getting caught at slip or caught behind. And it came to the final test match where he basically decided he needed to eliminate the risk to get the reward of a big score. He didn't achieve the usual statistics that he achieves, particularly against Australia. And so in Sydney in a test match, he just eliminated one stroke away from his repertoire of strokes, and that's the cover drive. And any cricket enthusiast knows that is a vital part of run scoring in test cricket. You must score runs through a cover drive. But he didn't want to risk getting out that similar fashion, so he eliminated it from his mindset. And I remember thinking, this is not going to work for him. This is unbelievable. He's looking sort of to execute perfectly a game plan that probably isn't achievable. And he played his first cover drive, I think, after he scored 100, on about 130. And I thought, that is amazing. The mental toughness to commit to a plan that you think is perfect and to be able to carry that out, that was as close to batting perfection that I think I ever saw on a cricket field. So I guess all, in summing it up, the pursuit of perfection is, as I say, the chase, the hunt, the desire to get there, but also the mental strength in giving yourself the best opportunity to achieve that.
2 aspects to what you've said, and I'm going to then throw that open to all of you, which is, one is mental toughness and the ability to eliminate all risks. Now, mental toughness, Viswanathan Anand, is a word often associated with the sport that you were so proficient in, chess, that you've got to be mentally tough. What really is mental toughness all about? Is it simply conquering the mind? Can you really conquer your mind with the sheer willpower that today I am going to checkmate my rival come what may?
Well, chess players will be the first to admit that the mind resembles a kind of several runaway horses. And so it's mental toughness is really understanding that you will go through a lot of ups and downs emotionally, but having some grip on your emotions and having this ability to keep your presence of mind, your calmness while the tension is at its maximum and you're most likely to make a mistake, if you can still keep some perspective, some overall balance, then you will not collapse. And that's when you lose a game. A game is often decided in a few minutes or seconds. And so what you want to do is to hang in there long enough, and hopefully your opponent will do it for you instead.
The reason we're looking at perfection, Michael, is because, as Viswanathan Anand there suggested, it can take one mistake or 1 second of something going wrong, one pawn moved in the wrong place, one poor shot played, or one bad tackle, and in your sport, literally a second. I mean, in athletics, to win a 400 meters year after year required you to get every day right. So that ability is how do you build consistency? Presumably perfection is also being consistent day after day at the sport in which you excel.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, as Adam said, this is about the pursuit of perfection. You don't just wake up and execute perfection. You pursue perfection, and understanding as an athlete or as a sports person what your potential is. Once you understand that, you are then forever in pursuit of that, and you get there by controlling, as you talked about, controlling the things that you can control. So consistency in training every single day and pushing yourself every single day, using every day of training as an opportunity to achieve perfection. And then once you understand that and you take that approach that every day is an opportunity to achieve perfection, then you don't want to squander any days and any opportunities. So that's what drives sports people to go out and train extremely hard day in and day out. But also when it comes down to competition, you have to minimize the mistakes or try to eliminate them completely. So preparation then becomes everything, all about preparation and execution. And focus becomes very important from that perspective, being able to, as you talked about, having the presence of mind and being able to control your emotions and being able to control your thoughts so that you're only focused on the task at hand.
Interesting, because Lothar Matthaus, when we saw you from the outside, you look like this tough character who would simply not give an inch on the football field. How did you maintain that intensity? Presumably a lot of achieving perfection is also about maintaining that intensity in the sport, in your sport, day after day again, club match, country. How did you actually achieve it? Is it about preparation? Is there some sort of science to it at all?
Yes. You see, you can have a perfect plan, but in a football, many reasons can do something against this perfect plan. A mistake from the referee, a mistake from the goalkeeper. You play against another team. They're like destroyed your plan, your perfect plan. And each pass who is not going well, it's not perfect. For this, we can have a great game, but I never saw a perfect game in so many years in a football. This is, in a football, not possible.
Interesting, because the two of you are team sports players, and these are two individual sports players. And I'm just wondering whether achieving perfection, as you said, is very different for a football player compared to an individual sport, because it's not just about you. Team sport, that much more difficult in a way to achieve perfection, because it's not just about you, it's about the other players also raising the bar.
Without doubt, the challenge of balancing up all the different personalities within a team and a team sport. And I agree with Lothar. I can't think of a perfect game of cricket. There's so many variables. There's natural conditions, there's wind, rain, whatever might come into it. But really, when you're talking of a team, I think it comes down to attitude. And one of our great captains of our time and a man very popular here in India is Steve Waugh. And the Australian cricket team were coming to India for well over 30 years, dominating everywhere around the world. But we couldn't achieve victory in Test match cricket here in India. But Steve Waugh worked out very quickly. It was about our attitude when we got here. And in our first team meeting in 2001, he wrote in the team meeting on a whiteboard, "Attitudes are contagious. is yours worth catching. Now, I don't think he made that quote up. I think you can Google it, and that wonderful person called Anand made that one up. I'm not sure who that is, but attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? So every day we wake up, we can ask ourselves that. And if you are in a team, it's of vital importance to have the right attitude, because if it's a negative attitude, it will be contagious and it will bring the team down. And you're right about Lothar in that German, the many German teams, 5 World Cups worth, the attitude just looked so determined, and the way he led filtered right through the team.
Interestingly, you still lost that 2001 Test series.
We did, but we learned a lot from that. We were competitive where previously we'd been completely outplayed. So we learned a lot from 01, and we managed to come back in 04 and achieve that victory that we were desperately seeking.
In a sport like chess, as we've often said, just one mistake can ruin a whole year of preparation. You're building up to become the next world champion. You've gone through the candidates, you've gone through all the tournament, and then you come to that crunch match, and one mistake can make all the difference. How do you then deal with pressure like that to achieve perfection?
Perfection is funny because at one level it's about control. If you're striving for perfection, you'll try to do the things that you're familiar with and that you've practiced and rehearsed the most. And you will go for the things you're best in because you want to avoid making mistakes. But at the same time, perfection is about having the courage and being able to switch into this alternate state of mind where you're willing to take risks and you're willing to do even insane things. And there's an inherent conflict there, because if you keep on retreating into the areas that you're good at, you won't attain perfection, and you will not even win everything, because every athlete says the same thing. There are too many variables, there are too many things that can happen, and you can't exercise that level of control. So you have to balance this thing of doing what you're good at, and at the same time being able to switch into a completely different frame.
I've heard a word from athletes and sports persons, which is, we were in the zone on a particular day. Can you ever really be in the zone where you actually believe you're doing no wrong? I've seen a couple of innings that you played, Adam Gilchrist, where you just seem to, dare I use the word, butcher every bowler who came before you, and it seemed that you were playing with an effortlessness. Do you get those times, moments as an athlete where you're in the zone, where you simply believe anything that I do will turn to gold?
I think the only time I felt any pressure was when I knew I hadn't prepared as well as I could. So it comes back to preparation. And if I knew walking out to bat or walking out to wicket keep, if I'd done all the preparation that I possibly could have to be ready for that moment, so the training, diet, sleep, whatever it may be, recovery, if I could walk out there and go tick, 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 I've ticked off all those, I knew I could relax. I didn't sort of relax to the point of not being nervous and have the desire, but I could relax, I could trust the training that I'd done, and I probably had an approach there, whatever's meant to be will be.
Let me come to another sort of cliche which is used, that so-and-so is a natural sports person. He's got natural talent. It's said about a Diego Maradona, that a Maradona could do things on a football field that no one else could do because he had this enormous natural talent. Is there this quest for perfection that involves an element of natural talent, that some footballers have to work harder or some sports persons have to work less hard than others? Is there a sense of that? Or is there simply the same kind of preparation that a Maradona has to do that a Matthaus has to do?
No, everybody's doing different. And
everybody's different.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, everybody, natural talent. He's not natural talent fast. When he had lost this talent, he cannot be the fastest, he cannot win 8 times the gold medal. Yes? When Maradona is not talented to have this technique and the speed, because Maradona was very fast. I played many times against him, but Maradona has something special, big talent. He was running fast with the ball. Another one can run the same fast, but without the ball. And in the football, the ball is important. The ball has to follow you, not you the ball. And this was the talent of Maradona, better than all the others.
So did he have to train less then to achieve perfection because he had the natural talent?
I think he was never trained so much than other players, because when I saw his warm-up before the games, he was standing, put a little bit ball in the air, make a show program for 80,000 spectators in the stadium, and was going first in the dressing room back and come out last. This was Maradona, and everybody believe him, everybody give him the special rights, because everybody know when we have Maradona in our team, end of the 80s, we win titles.
Yeah, because when you had your original style of running, there were critics, who said that Michael Johnson's style of running is not classical style, but you kept winning races. So is it about winning ugly, as they say sometimes in America when it comes to tennis? Is there a particular athlete, a Usain Bolt seems to just do it easily?
No one does it easily. I think that, with sports, we are far removed from the period of time where, you could succeed in sport based strictly on talent. There was certainly a time when there was a mix probably of athletes within sport where some got by on very little talent, but they worked really hard. And then right next to that athlete would be one who had extraordinary talent, but didn't work very hard. That's no longer the case. There's so much money in professional sports now that if you are there, you have talent. And you can't just rest on the talent. If you are in professional sports, you have natural talent, and you're working very hard every day. It's just, there's no other way around it. You can't be in professional sports without both of those.
It's interesting the way it's being put by Michael, because in chess often I would read that a Garib Kasparov or a Bobby Fischer before him were natural talents. And I never quite understood what it meant to be a naturally talented chess player. I presume that the preparation of a Kasparov was no different to a Karpov, of a Viswanathan Anand. Is there something at all in this theory of natural talent is necessary to achieve perfection?
I think natural talent is a very, very big factor in chess, at least.
It is?
It is. I mean, you see people who they look at a chessboard and they pass the first stages within days or weeks instead of months or years. And it's clear they have a certain natural aptitude for chess. It is also true that you can have a great talent for some aspect of chess, but no, you cannot have a talent for chess itself. And these are different things. You can be very, very good in some things. Like Kasparov was very good in his logical approach to the opening. He's very good in calculation. And Fischer had an amazing natural talent. He could play all sorts of different styles. But even the most talented players will turn out to have one glaring weakness. And there are aspects of the game that they cannot dominate. So if you don't work hard, the people will catch up in your strongest area and easily overtake you in your weakest. So without hard work, it's nothing.
Every day you went on the football field, Lothar, was your feeling, I have to be better than the last time I played for Germany or played for Bayern Munich?
I have to work harder than others, because we was talking about the talent, but without work, you cannot use your talent. You have to improve every day. And when I was going to training in Ronaldo from Portugal, who is playing in Real Madrid, is the best example. Yeah, everybody's thinking he's a good-looking guy, show his watches and his cars and the girls and. But I know a couple of players from Real Madrid, Toni Kroos, for example, the German national player, he told me he never saw somebody more professional than Ronaldo. He's the first in the dressing room, and he's the last who is leaving the training field. He's walking to get the results, for scoring, for running, and to don't get injured. And this, everything has to do the player. Only the talent is not enough.
As you said a little while earlier, when they came on the track, they needed to know that they were facing the great Michael Johnson on the track. Was there something in the eyes? Someone told me aggression is sometimes in the eyes.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
I mean, if you rocked out and had to run against an opponent and they had gold shoes on, don't you think you'd be a bit intimidated by
Was that deliberate? Were the gold shoes part of this exercise to intimidate your rivals? Muhammad Ali, in his book writes that I went into the ring with the idea of intimidating my rivals from the moment they saw me.
Yeah, I think, there's another side of that. When you're the athlete wearing gold shoes, you have to win gold, right? So, I would welcome that. One of my opponents coming out, saying, I've already won the gold medal, I'm wearing the gold shoes, because now you've got to deliver. But I think that, you want that. I certainly wanted to give the impression, and I wanted my opponents to feel that they couldn't beat me. And I was able to establish that sort of dominance over my competitors, not through aggression, but through constantly beating them. The more I beat them, the more they felt, well, I will never beat him, so I'm going to run for second, which benefited me on some days when I didn't quite execute the best race, but I was still able to win the championship. My 1997 World Championship, injured going into that championship. I felt I could still win. I didn't execute the best race. The time wasn't that fast, but I think that most of the athletes were running for second, for silver and bronze anyway, so I benefited from having maintained this consistency of dominance over my competitors.
I want to ask you, Viswanathan Anand, did you ever feel that you were unbeatable in this sport? You had a wonderful streak at various stages in your career where you kept winning. Did you ever feel unbeatable? Or is that simply the moment you feel you're unbeatable, that's the downfall of a sports person, as Adam seemed to point out earlier?
Yes, I mean, I liked his way of putting it. If you're number one, act like you're number two. And I think it's a very clever observation by Adam. In fact, all through my career, I would often play these mental games. If you're doing very well in something, you try to imagine some horror scenario going wrong, and that gets you back the sense of panic. I never felt completely, totally confident that I couldn't lose a game. Just the act of preparing for your opponent and looking at everything that could happen, you knew that there were things that could go wrong. What was bad enough was simply the sense at some moments that I might have a good chance of getting away with this. I mean, you know you're doing the wrong thing, you know you're vulnerable, but you think you might slip past. Even that was bad enough. But I never felt completely invulnerable. Even my best, you mentioned the zone earlier, even when I really was in the zone, I didn't feel like it. It's only afterwards when I realized the result had been incredibly good that I must have been in the zone, but it's always an attractive feeling.
Well, you've all four been almost unbeatable at various times in your sport, which is why you're perfectionists, which is why we've got you on Royal Stag Barrel Select Perfect Strokes. Thank you all very much. We'll have more with these four legendary sports persons on India Today. For now, that's it on this special show. Thanks for watching. And remember, the quest for perfection is never ending.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.